I'm Jamie McIntyre at the Washington Examiner. The first thing to know about the Korean War is that it never really ended. Technically, we are still in a state of hostilities with the North because the fighting was stopped in 1953 by an armistice agreement, not a peace treaty. So if the North ever does come south, the U.S. is in the battle from day one. There won't be any debate in Congress over whether to authorize the use of military force. The U.S. is obligated by treaty to defend the South, an agreement that Vice President Pence in Korea just reaffirmed as ironclad. The U.S. has 28,500 troops permanently stationed in South Korea, and the top commander of the combined U.S. and South Korean forces is an American four-star general. You can see him standing here next to Vice President Pence at the DMZ. That's Army General Vincent Brooks, whose troops have a motto, "Fight tonight." Now, about the DMZ, or the demilitarized zone, the line roughly along the 38th parallel that divides the communist North from the democratic South. It's 160 miles long, 2.5 miles wide, and it is the most highly militarized border in the world. One problem, if war does break out on the Korean Peninsula, is that Seoul, South Korea's capital, is just 30 miles south of the DMZ, with a population of 28 million people. And North Korea has thousands of big guns along the DMZ ready to rain artillery shells down on the capital city. So while all the Pentagon's war games show that the U.S. and its allies would defeat the North in the event of war, it would be, in the words of one Pentagon official, a bloodbath, with up to 1 million casualties on both sides. The U.S. has rerouted the aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson to the waters off Korea as a show of force and a message of deterrence. And most people have been focusing on the big carrier and its complement of warplanes. But the other ships in the strike force are even more important. Some of those destroyers have sea-based missile defenses, capable of shooting down a missile fired from North Korea before it can threaten the U.S. or Japan or South Korea. So the big question, are we headed for war? A lot depends on the North's enigmatic leader, Kim Jong-un, who many think is unstable, but others believe is interested primarily in just retaining his grip on power at all costs. Unlike some radical Muslims, Kim has no desire for martyrdom. He seems to believe that the only way he can hold on to power is to be able to threaten the world with nuclear weapons. And the key to achieving the U.S. goal of a denuclearized Korean peninsula is to somehow change that calculus and convince Kim that the only way for him to stay in power is to give up his nuclear weapons. And that's where the U.S. is hoping that China will play a major role. I'm Jamie McIntyre, author of the Washington Examiner's Daily on Defense, where I update you every day on national security issues just like this.